Okay, so greetings, everybody. This is Soul Dive Call number 1, February 2019. It's Thursday, February 28th. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. How many people are in the morning time zone? Raise your hand physically. Great. How many people are in the afternoon time zone? Raise your hand. Good. And how many people are in the evening time zone? Raise your hand. Yeah. Jacqueline, and I saw that you had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank
You've
you.
got so many wonderful women. I think we are all women here with us today. And I just want to say welcome and thank you for coming, for showing up for yourself, for Spirit, for the fairies, for the Marys, for your trust in me, for your support of me as well through your participation in this Soul Dive series. I really appreciate you all being here and feel that this is going to be a very, very interesting and wonderful journey this year as we progress through the 12 months through this live call. As you know, you're all receiving your online courses the 15th of each month, and we're doing our best to make sure you're all getting those emails. So as we have just a few little housekeeping matters before we really launch in, as you know, you will want to bookmark the link for each month with this link. And this is also where that link is also where our recordings of these sessions is going to be. And it also has the link for the monthly online course. And you can also bookmark that one individually and name it so that you can have them in your bookmarks menu at the drop of a hat anytime you want to go in and look, and then you don't have to search for these emails and so forth. So we have at this very moment, we've got Jacqueline, Abigail Elaine, Abby Laufer, Aravel Forbes, Ariana, Barb, Betty, Catherine, Christina, Haley, Jenny, Karen, Katya, Kayla, Leah, Myrna, Nirmala, Patricia, Anderson, yay. The mystery woman who, let's see, that might be Ameho. Ameho with all of your coding, Wendy Manning, and there may be some more coming on. We actually have at least 60 women that are a part of this. And many of you are on the Facebook group. I encourage you to join. Even if you're not a Facebook person, you might just want to join Facebook just for this group, just for this year, so that you can communicate with one another, share your victories, ask for support, share your processing of the classes and of these live calls, and so that we can really kind of be all together as this very interesting year is going to progress. I have a sense that things are going to transpire this year that are that feel big. And obviously one of them is personally for me, the writing pilgrimage that I'm on. So I thought I would start with a different location than some of you are used to seeing me in. This is my present living room, but as of next month, I'm going to be in different places each month when you see me. I thought we would just begin by calling in the fairies with the bell, because today's call is dedicated to the fairies and the She. The She are also a race of beings on the other side, very closely related to the fairies, but they are more our kin. We have a common ancestor, according to the information that's coming through. She, S-I-D-H-E. And they are more like the elves of Tolkien, the tall elves. So we're calling in the highest level helpers of the She, of the fairies, of the elementals, the earth, air, fire, water, ether spirits. And the fairies are connected with flowers, plants, trees, waters, waterways, rocks, anything of nature. They are right there on the other side. So we're calling on them to be with us. Yeah, I see Ariana's got her fairy bell to be with us, supporting us. Blessed be. I've got here some allies. I've got Blessed Mother and the Christed Master and the fairy that my aunt painted for me, as well as some other beings, plants, and crystals. I have got on my crown, my fairy crown, courtesy of Connie Viveros, who made that with a group and gave it to me, and then my scepter from Maura McCarley Torkeldsen. Connie is going to be with us in this series, and this scepter is made by Maura. She's a beautiful artist who does scepters of all kinds, and she has many talents. Before we ground and center, I want to welcome Carmen Nash, who's going to be holding space for us. Carmen is our teaching assistant for this class, and one of her roles is to begin, before our session even starts, to meditate, help ground our bubble, ground our space, remind us all on the astral plane, ooh, time for the session, and then to hold space for us to do our work in a safe way. Carmen, would you like to say hello and a few words about yourself?
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see everyone here today. Marguerite may have mentioned I completed the level 2 priestess training with Seven Sisters Mystery School. And also I took the fairy class, which happened right after that. I recognize several of you from that. And so I'm just so honored to be here holding space for this series. Both topics, the Divine Mother and the fairy realms, are close to my heart. So I'm very excited to see how this unfolds for all of us and what comes of it.
Yeah. Blessed be, welcome. And Carmen has also taken many of my classes. She's taken my Divine Birth Mystery teachings, many of the online courses that you're going to be enjoying as a part of this Soul Dive series. So she's here. All right, so let's just do a little bit of grounding and centering together. No, I think what we're going to do first is I'm going to read you the card that I pulled. So this is the Faeries Oracle deck by Brian Froud. Some of you may be familiar with this. It really is considered one of the most reputable and authentic fairy decks. And these fairies are unpredictable and very interesting. The fairy card that I pulled today, which surprised me, but then didn't surprise me, is Gluminous Doom. Gluminous Doom. Okay. Now, I'm going to read a bit about this, and when I read it, I thought, oh, perfect, of course. Gluminous Doom is about self-defeat, self-pity, self-destruction, and taking care of ourselves. Self-pity is the first step on the slippery, seductive slide towards self-destruction, as is written here. Now, what I want to say about self-pity, I don't really like the word because I think it connotes even a judgment toward ourselves for feeling badly. And how I really more want to phrase that is sadness, sorrow, not feeling good enough, those types of things. And as we know, we have some mastery over whether we are going to stay with those feelings or not, and whether we are going to heal what's underneath those feelings, because it's not about doing a spiritual bypass, brushing them away and going, I'm fine. It's about, wow, why am I sad? Why am I sorrowful? Why am I feeling unworthy? What has led to that in my family life in this lifetime? And how is that related to the karma that goes through all my lifetimes? And how can I heal it in this lifetime? So let's take that in when we're reading what is written here. much of what was said about the Soul Shrinker card applies to Gluminous Doom. So please read about the Soul Shrinker first, and I'm going to read this. The Soul Shrinker represents cruelty, malice, gossip, curses, destruction, and blessing. So you see how these things have the shadow and the light, right? They contain their opposite as well. And about the soul shrinker, it says, the distasteful task of the soul shrinker is to observe what we say to and about others, especially the mean, nasty, and unnecessarily critical things. By observing our behavior this way, he reflects it back to us, making us more aware of it. This is a bodhisattva, a spiritual being devoted to helping to bring about the enlightenment of all type of job. And it requires great compassion, understanding, and forgiveness if the soul shrinker himself is not to be dragged down to our level. If we are just inwardly spluttering, looking for words, he may even suggest to us the words that express our feelings and energy. Then it is our choice or test whether or not we say them. There are two important things about malicious gossip, unnecessary criticism, verbal cruelty, sarcasm, and scoring off of others. One is that it demeans the speaker, makes him or her less, makes the aura of that person darker, and encourages the behavior as a habit, continually eroding the brightness and potential goodness of the speaker. The other important thing is that this is a way that we actually curse others. So, I also think this requires a lot of compassion, because we have to look at, why am I being critical? Why am I being judgmental? What is underneath that? It's not just that I'm a nasty person. It's that something's going on for me where I'm feeling not enough. Okay? And so going back to Gluminous Doom, they are the closest of cousins with the soul shrinker. The Gluminous Doom observes the way we curse ourselves. In a way, thought, the part of ourselves that he witnesses, is worse than what the soul shrinker sees. So these are our inner thoughts. When we curse others through sending the energy of malice and ill will toward them, again, which is usually happening because we're insecure on some level, right? They may reject our sendings. However, when we curse ourselves through self-pity and self-destructive attitudes, there is little, if any, resistance. And the curse takes immediate effect and continues to act until we change something within ourselves. All right? There's more to it, but I'll just say that I think is a very good and interesting way to start this 12-month journey, because in a way, this is the essence of what it's all about, is healing these aspects of self and calling on the fairies and the she and the Marys to assist with this very, very deep work. So let's just take that in for a moment as we close our eyes, reflecting on how in this past week soul shrinker may have shown up for you or not. If it didn't, celebration for yourself. If it did, what's the wound? Talking about others, cursing others, belittling or diminishing in any way. How has Gluminous Doom shown up, perhaps this week? Mental thoughts of self-criticism or despair, things aren't going to work out, or everything's always hard. And we are calling on the fairies now to help us with this. Bring their joy, their love, their laughter, their fulfillment. Fulfill. Feel fulfilled. And as we are feeling into this, I want to remind us something that I wrote about and have discovered over the last few months since September when I went to Findhorn and the Fairy Conference. David Spangler, who is a reputable seer of the fairy world and has a guide named Marielle, reports that Marielle tells us that Mary, Mother Mary, is in the lineage of the she. Okay, you may have read that, and if you did, it's good to be reminded. If not, it's good to contemplate that momentous concept, because Mother Mary is a great being. She had the strongest holy womb chakra of any woman who ever walked the planet. She was a deity level individual herself. She had already ascended and she kept coming to the planet, and she was able to bring in, therefore, a human fairy hybrid known as Jesus. So this is the reality that I'm embracing, that these worlds are all related. They're all connected. There's no dichotomy. There's no conflict. We can embrace the she, the fairies, and the Marys, and the Christed Master as bringing in this energy of transformation, joy, to transmute the gloom doom and the soul shrinking that is part of what we're learning ourselves out of. We knew that we were coming to planet Earth at this time, a time of great travail, where there have been centuries, generations, perhaps even thousands of years of these negatively inculcated energies into our systems, maybe even into our very DNA as humans. And we are healing out of that. We are healing out of that. We are awakening. And now this lifetime is the possibility of releasing this karma with a little help from our friends, the fairies, the Marys, and others. Yesterday on the healing table of Christine Tula, she's a beautiful body worker in the Bay Area, I realized that I was having a more calm session than usual. Oftentimes I'll have deep insights and profound things, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm kind of stabilized right now, so I'm not having those deep insights, and I'm thinking, wow, I guess this is why I've called to myself a difficult life, because it has really opened me into these realms. Nothing like tragedy and travail to connect you right up with divine source. And then I said to myself, well, how can I do this another way? And, you know, like, do I constantly have to be going into the underworld in order to be a priestess? And of course, boom, what popped in? The fairies. They're like, well, that's our role. That's why we're telling you to awaken to us, because we can help you ascend through joy. Okay? And love. So it was just a very good reminder. That's the road that I want to be on. Literally, as I'm getting on the road with my seed of fiery hope, my Toyota, my cargo box on top, any belongings I can fit in, I'm going to be going on the road and just downsizing everything so that I can become calmer and not be the whirling marketing machine that I've been for the past 7 years with Seven Sisters Mystery School. Something that's been a very interesting process that has allowed me to connect with all of you and many other people, but has also had its toll. And I want to do things a different way. I want to do things the fairy way. So I need to have more private time, more time to write, more time to do my morning oblations, and not feel like I'm having to manage 7 million things, constantly anticipating and having the mind whirling even when I'm sleeping. So I'm trying to do this self-care, and I'm speaking to you about this because I know that many of us are in this constant whirlwind of something in order to be having money come in, right? The Babylonian money magic enslavement system that we are a part of, where we have to get money in order to survive. This is a very great trick that has been pulled on us, and we knew that we were going to come into the planet with this operating, and we were going to just see it as a creative challenge to get around it and even heal it. So moving into more of a place of trust and operating in a way that is something beyond just sheer grit. That's what we're all about here, okay? So with this as a backdrop, we're going to move into a guided journey. And then we're going to open to questions that you have. And I will, open the Oracle space that is really a communal group space, and we'll see what comes through. And the idea is that we will go the hour and 15 minutes, and I hope to respect that time because I know that everybody is busy running with the Babylonian money magic system. So, we're going to be on Virgo busy time rather than Italian time, which would be like, we're starting late, we're ending late, who cares? No, we're gonna just adhere to Chronos, right? The rules of time. And I also want to say something else. Now, some of you I know a little bit, some of you I know a little bit better, some of you I'm just meeting. And I just want to warmly welcome everybody, because you're all beautiful, bright souls who are you're doing the work. You're doing the inner work. You're doing the outer work. Many of you are priestesses in your own right in one way or another. We'll just use that word. Sacred women. Many of you are bridging worlds, different kinds of worlds, business and spiritual, academia and spiritual, arts and spiritual. And so I just want to invite each of you just to take a moment to honor yourself for who you are as that sacred woman. And we'll begin our journey now, just closing our eyes together. Honoring who you are as a sacred woman. What has brought you here, not just as a participant, not just as an observer, but as a co-creator. I am a ringleader of sorts, but each one of us is a node of leadership in this group. And so just allowing yourself to feel that. Feel yourself as a node on the net of reality. And now feeling your body and your feet. And feeling your womb or womb space, the whole abdomen all the way up to the navel. And feeling that 1.5 inches below your navel is the Nada Bindu point, the floating point that connects you with your holy womb chakra and the holy womb chakra of all of your mothers, all the way back to Universal Mother. And feel that growing as a seed of crystal and diamond white light in your belly. And growing into an orb of crystal and diamond white light, and down, stretching down as a column of crystal and diamond white light to your root chakra and up to your crown chakra. Now feel it growing down. We're asking Mother Earth to receive the grounding. Feel it growing down as a column of crystal and diamond white light all the way down into the earth, all the way to the core. And see it envelop the core of Mother Earth, a molten iron crystal. And see it growing from your crown all the way out your ceiling into the atmosphere, beyond into the solar system, beyond that into space, and all the way up to the central sun, which we're going to see as a Nada Bindu point of Mother Divine's holy womb chakra. And just feel as you breathe, you're going to breathe in golden light from earth, from below, and crystal and diamond light from the central sun. all the way into your third chakra, and then out your crown and out your root, down into the earth and up into the cosmos. And the inhale is going to fortify you with the loving energies of Mother Earth, Mother Divine, and the exhale is going to dissolve and release what doesn't serve you in your space. Really knowing and feeling that this intention is a profound transformation within your body, mind, spirit system. You're using the power of light, which is the essence of all. And feeling the loving vibration as you are doing that, coming in through this light. Just letting yourself release and relax. Breathing, feeling the relaxation of your body. Coming into present time more and more and more. As we're doing this, I just had a bird hit the window. Very interesting. Just keep breathing. So the birds are saying hello. Feeling yourself grounded now, just become aware of the external world. Become aware of any plants or earth beings in your house, like crystals, rocks, the very matter of Mother Earth itself through whatever has been created, your furniture, your objects, your clothing, everything. Recognizing and honoring that as a manifestation of Mother Earth. Bringing your awareness farther out to your outside, what's outdoors from you, the natural world, the air, the earth, the trees, the plants, the flowers, the birds, the crawlers, the four-leggeds, the two-leggeds, the waters. And just feeling a golden glow from you is encompassing your entire house and yard. We're honoring these beings. We're feeling our connection, and we are calling in their ultra-dimensional aspects, the ultra-dimensional aspects of the plants, the fairies, and the ultra-dimensional etheric aspects, the she ancestors. Feeling our connectivity and feeling all of our golden orbs, whether we're watching, participating live, or coming on later, all of our golden globes, our orbs, connecting to one another's in this great net, wherever we are in the world. And we're feeling the spread of the golden net around us. So we are co-creating our net, our soul dive net, in service to humanity. Energies coming from the holy womb chakras going out that net. Connecting, protecting, connecting, protecting. Feeling the connection of our womb chakras to our heart chakras. And feeling the awakening of the heart, the sacred heart of the Blessed Mother, the Sacred Heart of the Christed Master, just to name two that have been working and playing with that aspect of reality. in feeling the energies of the Sacred Heart being generated within yourself. And spreading down to your third chakra, where a lot of that luminous doom comes from, the place where we've been disconnected from Mother Divine. We've had injuries to our umbilicus from our mother. We've taken in toxins from our mother through thought forms that, dear soul, she didn't realize, and we've had generations of problems. So we're healing our womb and our third chakras right now. That vulnerable chakra that starts us thinking about how there is lack. Bringing the energy of the Sacred Heart into your holy womb chakra and your holy third chakra, your belly, where you are connected to your mother's 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 mother. Just bringing in that healing for whatever leads to your soul sucking or your luminous doom. You know what the script is for your life, that sacred wound that travels through your lifetime. You're bringing the healing. You're feeling the energy that our group is generating, that I'm helping, assisting with. Just right into your third chakra, your holy womb chakra, your heart. We're just going to stay with this for a few minutes in silence as you receive what you need to do or just be with this for a while here. Let it show you, let it teach you. Breathe and relax to help facilitate this. This is a sacred time for you to replenish. Allow that to happen. Feel the powers of the universe conspiring to assist you in this healing, in this filling, in this transmutation. The fairies, the Marys, and more. allowing yourself to receive whatever personal messages are pertinent for you in this regard today. Something that will assist. And now, as we begin this journey, we're really saying hello to the fairies, to the she, to the Marys, welcoming them to be on this journey with us this year. Going even deeper rungs with them into the inner planes. Allow yourself to receive a special message and blessing from the fairies and the she now. And now allow yourself to receive a special message and blessing from the Marys. Blessed Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, the other Marys of the Bible. This is a priestess title, Mary. Going all the way back to Sophia, wisdom goddess. Allow yourself to receive from this sacred feminine emanation that has many holographic manifestations. Good. And now this is something a little experimental. So I'm transmitting an energy that's coming through me. And this is an energy of Divine Mother's love. And just see if you can tune into that. Generating it within yourself. Because as we co-participate in this way, you receive the fishing rod, not just the fish. Mother's divine love. Available everywhere, anytime. I'm just an assist, a conduit, a reminder for you. This is the energy that the planet needs so badly, which is why we are having the awakening back to the sacred feminine, the balancing, mothering energy. The nourishment, the breast milk. Let yourself drink of that breast milk, of Mother Divine, celestial milk. All the way into your hungry belly, your hungry third chakra. Breathing, feeling your feet, feeling your body, letting this truly integrate into all aspects of your body, down to your DNA. And I am receiving with you, both receiving and transmitting. Healer and healee are one. And this is what you are. One more minute of this to really relax and receive. Intend and allow that this energy will continue to generate within you and fortify you for your road ahead. It's also sending an energy pulse back to your past to heal and fortify that as well. Past and future are one in this present moment. And your being is the divine impulse that transmits this energy everywhere. Beautiful. All right, now. Now you can either stay with your eyes closed, or if you would like to, we're going to begin the cosmic Q&A part. In order to facilitate this in an orderly way, you can hover your cursor over your photo, your picture. You can see that it says unmute, and there are 3 buttons. If you click the 3 buttons, I believe there should be at the end of that drop down, it says raise your hand. And if not, it's at the very bottom where it says participants or something like that, and click that. It's somewhere, it's in one of those things. And so you can electronically raise your hand, and that's how I will know to call on you. And just, if you couldn't figure it out, just poke around there. You'll come upon it eventually. All right, we're going to begin with Abby Laufer. And what would you like to bring today in this co-created Oracle space?
Oh, hi. So the question has to do with joy. So for me, joy is extremely important, probably more important than many other things. And staying in touch with it can be challenging sometimes when you're processing through past life stuff or any kind of trauma. And so the question is, what would be, or what might be recommended, the most effective method for staying in touch with the core of joy even while you're processing through deep trauma?
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that question, Abby. And I'm just going to mute you for a minute here. Okay. So once again, I really feel the fairies strongly coming in. And they are constantly reminding me that until it becomes a habit, calling them in can become a practice like any other. Although they promise joy and they promise lightness and fun, we are all still in the Puritan work ethic. And we think that, no, I'll have joy if I just get a little bit more organized, if I just look at that next email, that next Facebook post, that this, that. The electronics are a big distraction to this, and busyness gets to be engulfing of our day. So to have a fairy altar, to have a fairy bell, and when you find yourself getting too serious, you can go down and just ring that fairy bell and go, help, help. Can you help bring lightness and joy? And you can just sit for a minute and breathe and see if there's a message. Now, a lot of you, you're going to be getting the Awakening to Our Fairy Kin course, where you're going to be, all of you are, if you haven't already, where you're going to be meeting your fairy ally. And that being can be there right on your shoulder all the time. And you can consult it in a moment's notice, okay? And ask for assistance. So cultivating joys is a practice, and it requires work initially to get there because of the nature of 3 dimensions and where we are right now with these trauma fields that are so intense. Once you get the message of how could I cultivate joy in this moment or in general, then follow the suggestions. That's practice number 2. Because all these things start getting in the way. No, I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to make that call. No, because it's fear. It's fear that if I take some moments to be in joy, I'm going to miss out, or I'm not going to make my money. I'm not going to do my Babylonian money magic, or somebody's going to get down on me, or whatever it is. Okay. So they're saying reverse that equation, because what you're going to find out is that something that many of you know, you've experienced it, and some of you know it intellectually, then you forget, which is that when you start going into that field of joy, trust, and magic, and availability and relaxation, the abundance comes to you in a different way. Okay, so they're telling me that right now as well, which is also why I'm structuring my life differently, so that I can go back to having incidental meetings with people where I can actually take the time to pay attention out on the highway or in the store where I'm getting a thing in Fargo, North Dakota, and just taking a moment to take in who's there and all of a sudden you might have a serendipitous encounter, right? So you open more to serendipitous encounters, and that opens you to the joy realm. Okay, so that's just one beginning, so that we can remind ourselves, and just when you find something that brings you joy, like really do it with a gusto. Really allow it. And you can also do the practice that I've learned of 5 minutes of joy a day. You make a list of different things that can be done in a 5-minute span, where you pick one a day to do. It can be as simple as drinking your hot beverage and looking out the window, or dancing to a song, or going into a flower shop, or going into a jewelry store and looking at the finery, or reading a passage from some book, something. 5 minutes of joy a day. Okay, that came from Johnny Fernandez and Lara Fernandez. Very good practice. It just starts getting you over the hump and into the joy. And then joy begets joy. It starts a virtuous spiral like this, okay? And you can get back into it at any time. If you fall off the wagon, if you start getting into the pit, just do one little thing. It's a thread, like a dream thread that you pull, and oh my gosh, then you're remembering the whole dream. Okay? So we'll go with that. Ariana, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead. Oopsie.
Okay. Okay, am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Actually, that answered a lot of what I was bringing as a question, which is, what suggestions do the fairies have for us in terms of a different way of marketing? And I know you're doing this as I am. The old ways of marketing are not working. They're highly stressful. Yeah. And so I loved that, paying attention to doing things that bring joy, and that we really enjoy doing, and that allowing other things to flow out of that. That's really helpful. Do you have is there anything else that comes?
Yeah, and because this is important for a lot of us who are here as women who are perhaps making a living or wanting to make a living through, not working directly for the man, so to speak, right? Through a corporate structure or a 9-to-5 structure or whatever. So with the message that came to me when I was looking at the message from the fairies is they were saying, okay, so see what you've done. Now you have structured things so that you feel safe enough to step into the place of trust. What you've had to do is you've had to use sheer grit to create a program where there's lots of people who are supporting you. And then, you're going to continue to have clients and things like that. But you didn't trust that you could have done it a different way earlier on. So, okay, that's all right. You've done it in a way that you got to a level where you can trust now and relax. And now you're going to start seeing actually how much more flows to you when you're in that state, because you're feeling safe. So they're saying it is a place of radical trust. And I wasn't otherwise ready. And I've had these conversations with various people in the spirituality field who are making a living at it or wanting to make a living at it. And it's that radical trust thing, because, when your course isn't filling, or when then we start freaking out, and it's like, where's the rent coming from? So I don't have the full answer, but they're just saying experiment with small ways, and then you can lead to larger ways. And then you can pull it into your whole reality. This really is co-reality creation. Okay, so experiment with small ways where you can feel safe enough to be in the trusting spot, and then move it to bigger and bigger aspects of what you're doing. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Blessed be. All right. Nirmala, you're unmuted. Hello.
Great. Hi, and thank you so much for that beautiful journey. There was so much that came through that was really incredible and that I know I'm going to be working with for a very long time. So the question I have, I guess it's about working with elemental energy. And what I should say is that maybe about 6 months or so ago, I had perhaps the most profound dream I've ever had, where I felt like I had a very potent and visceral connection with what I thought was some sort of goddess energy, and that might be an elemental energy. And the way that it comes through, because it's revisited me since then, is it's the energy of a tree. And when it appears, it's not like any other tree that I've ever seen. And the way that it seems to work is that its roots go deep into the core of the earth and into the underworld. And it also goes straight up into the cosmos. And there's this really interesting sense of the up and the down and the feeling of that. So I've never encountered this kind of energy before. And I've been looking into just, different myths, and I'm very, very clear that it's a feminine energy that comes through all the time. And usually when this dream, I mean, I had this one dream, but it's come through several other dreams and visions. This energy is always present in the midst of chaos and turmoil and devastation. And it's the energy of just pure love. And I was wondering if you could speak to maybe the symbolism of the tree, because again, I have ideas about what it is, but I don't want those ideas to get in the way of my actual experience of it, because it's such a beautiful, it's such a beautiful energy. And part of me wants to just understand exactly what it is and how to work with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's very profound, and that's the next layer of evolution of working with sacred feminine and goddess on the planet is movement toward the trees. Now, for a number of years, I myself have been receiving things. People like Ariana Newcomer here, Maura McCarley, Torkelson. These are just people within my small orbit. And there has been, I have started working with David Todd, who believes that what he's received, and I agree, is that the redwoods are the purest manifestation of fifth dimensional consciousness on the planet, and so forth and so on. So what's happening is the merging of goddess and tree in our consciousness. Like, we're ready now. First stage in the reawakening over the past couple of decades has been the awakening to the anthropomorphized feminine goddess, right? She's like a human. Now we're moving into more what she really is, which is not so much necessarily a divine human, although there are manifestations like Blessed Mother and all those who take that on and help us. But it's more like any other deity energy. It's an energy. Okay, so now what's happening is it's starting to merge with the trees. The sacred feminine is starting to merge with the trees. And what we're going back to is the old imagery of the world tree. Okay, as some of you are familiar with that world tree. And what is that? That is the unification of the goddess realm with the fairy realm. So you had an incredibly powerful set of dreams around that that's showing you, this is the way, this is something for you to work with, keep going with it. And this is for all of us. Last weekend, a number of us, some of us here, were doing the synchronized global healing ceremony. And some of us in the Bay Area went to Roy's Redwoods and we worked with the trees. Every single person received an oracle from the Redwoods, right? You can merge with trees. You can sit with them with your back to them. You can visualize yourself merging. You can hold them. Visualize yourself merging. You can go into the tree and have the tree come into you in the forest, and then you can have that medicine anytime. You can call upon it. Yes, it's a feminine energy, right? And that's what's coming back into the planet right now. And it's showing us the unification of feminine, earth, tree, astral, underworld, middle world, upper world, in drawing on these resources in order to strengthen ourselves so that we can become trees. we can become like trees. That's what it's all about. You know, you've seen the thing of the human with the chakras and then the grounding trunk that goes into the earth around the center and up to the central sun. Duh. That's the exact image of the tree, the branches and the roots into the underworld. So what you're invited to do is just keep working and playing with that and see what it does for you, what it tells you, what it leads you to. And it seems like they're going to be, do I have somebody, maybe you can mute yourself, whoever's coming in with that sound. I thought I had everybody unmuted. It's just a little distracting. Okay. And so you want to, because what's going to happen, like for Ariana and for Maura, is a series of teachings is going to come for you, for yourself, and through you for others. And these teachings are going to kind of overlap, but each one has its specific personality, and you're going to reach your people with those teachings. And it's a matter of co-creative play in the moment, continuing to let these teachings unfold for you. Okay, so does that seem to answer that?
Yes, that's very helpful, Marguerite. Thank you.
Okay, so keep going with it. Blessed be. All right. So now we are unmuting Abigail Elaine. Hello, my dear.
Hi, Marguerite. Hi, everybody. My question is about the she and how they are related to the stars, or if they are really kind of truly a Gaiac energy here on the earth plane.
Right. Excellent question. So I'm going to go in on this a little bit to get a little bit more information. This is another example of as above, so below, as below, so above, as within, so without, as without, so within. It's all the same. And so what they're teaching us is there's really no distinction between Gaia and the stars. Like, that's a part of our duality thinking. And it's part of what we are learning to transmute and integrate, because as we integrate those thought forms, we integrate things within ourselves. We integrate the dark and the light, you know, the good and the bad, the left and the right, the above and the below, the underworld and the upper world, right? So they're encouraging us, because in some traditions, they are actually called the shining ones, the she. Shining ones. Now, I've just been hearing that recently. And in my studies from 2 decades ago, that term, the shining ones, is constantly there for deities. North Africa, even the many of the Greek terms like Zeus itself, many of the Pleiadian names, they all have star or shining at their linguistic root. And so similarly, the she, there is a possibility that they are actually the Tuat de Danann. If you're familiar with that, the beings who came into the portal of Avalon in the British Isles. So they were largely focused there. But the lore there is that they came in quote unquote ships or boats. In other words, like space vehicles. And then there's a further lore where things went down and they went underground. They went into an inner earth civilization. And now we're hearing all from Corey Good and others that, hey, there's actually inner earth civilizations. There's people down there who have terraformed all different races. And they are living sometimes in a 3-dimensional reality, and sometimes it's in a 5th-dimensional reality. But so they're both and, because also bear in mind that the earth is a star to Venus. The earth is a star to the other stars, right? It's seen as a star. So our own star nature, Gaia as a star being, she's an astral being. So when we start having that, again, these dichotomies start resolving out. Like, is the Holy Family at odds with anything else in the divine world, which like the Catholic Church would like us to think, you know, like everything else is evil except for Jesus. Okay. It's like, well, no, what if Jesus is a she? I mean, so that's like the reality that Marielle is trying to show us from David Spangler, which is no differences. It's all one, you know? And yes, it has its own flavors and things like that. But so I'm going to ask you, Abigail, I want you to just tune in for a minute. If you consider the she to be shining ones who are also very much connected with the fabric of Mother Earth, what one thing does that change in your life? And just play around with it. When something comes to you, just blurt it out.
I feel like they are the earth stars. That it's like the flowers here, it's that is the cosmic energy manifesting in earth. The plants are the manifestations of starlight here. It's like the sun is light and then it comes through, and then here's the manifestation of light in physical form. So,
wow. Hello, all right, you heard it here. I mean, that was worthy of, you know, Hindu sages. Okay, so by the way, we're just saying hello, Gloria and Sylvia, in case some of you are not familiar with us. We're the two Mints and one from Long Island on the fifth dimension. We're going to pop in and out because we're part of, we really like the fairies. Okay, we like Marguerite's crown and her scepter. We like all that. So that's very good, you know, that's it right there. Everything is starlight. Everything is matter. It's all one, you know. So as we relax these dichotomies, we relax the torment within ourselves, these divisions and these good angel, bad angel, you know, on our shoulder type situations that have got us just crazy. Okay, so there's a lot for you to explore there and experiment with and play with. Okay, I'm going to mute you. Okay, Catherine Borsellino, unmute yourself, por favor. Per favore. Per piacere.
Grazie.
Prima, sorella mia from Sicilia.
Sì.
Catherine and I have very intense karma together that will be potentially revealed in the next couple of years as I write about various things. Okay, so go ahead.
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted, madam.
Oh, wonderful. You know, I'm going to Sicily in 2 weeks. I'll be there for 3 weeks. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. My question today has to do with, you know, kind of trust and joy. I got really slammed. Probably one of the most painful days of my life was Sunday, 4 days ago. It was my birthday. I was with the son and his girlfriend 5 hours away north of where I live. And I end up not wanting to get in an altercation because I'm not a fighter. But this time was different. I said, you know, I think I'm going to go home. And I got my car and drove 5 hours, the last thing I wanted to do on my birthday. And I just cried and I asked God, why would somebody do that and say those things that aren't true? Gosh, it even hurts today to say it. So it's been waking me up at night too. And I usually can let these things go, but I just got that there was dark corded to his throat chakra and solar plexus, and he was used as a conduit. So if that's the case, and everything in life is a gift, and this is the test, I mean, it's hard to go to joy. And I have the book that you have, the fairy. I didn't have it with me. I didn't pull a card today, and talk to them on your shoulders. It's just hard to get there some days when your heart's broken.
Yeah. Good point. So let's look into this. Incidentally, there is a big robin in the basket of flowers that's right outside here. It's digging in this hanging basket. What is it doing? Is it getting a worm?
Making a nest.
I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Mm.
Okay, so this is the very thing that we began the session with today. This
Yes, it is.
question, because there are so many negative energies on the planet that are just there to get us down and down and down. And even the most spiritual of us, the most aware of us, what happens? We get triggered into something, our childhood wound, da da da, and before you know it, ram, ram, ram. We're feeling bad all day long.
Yeah. Or 4 days.
Right? Extended, sometimes a lifetime. Okay.
It's true.
So I'm going to ask you, what is your first step in this regard?
To have great compassion for myself.
Totally right answer. You get an A. Okay. Complete passion for self, because as Matt Kahn has been saying, just the act of compassion for what is step number one. And there is so much healing in that. And doing that again and again is like polishing silver. Eventually the shine can come through, right? And even if the silver gets tarnished again because we leave it for a while, we can polish it again, right? So compassion is the first swipe of the polishing cloth on the silver of our soul.
That's good.
It's just having these stepping stones so that you don't necessarily have to get to joy right this minute, or even in a week, but just being with the compassion and the compassion of what got triggered, of feelings of attack or betrayal or whatever. So okay, he's got some negative energies that took hold of him. I've had that happen to me a million times with energies coming through me. And all of a sudden I'm blah, blah, even with clients, Yeah. And then having to catch ourselves going, wow, how the hell did I just get possessed right then, So how do we get possessed? Well, because they're hooking right into our wounds. They're very furbi, as they say in Italian, furbo. They're very like sly. They know how to get in.
Yes.
And then your companion wound beings know how to get in on you and make you feel worse and worse and worse. And before you know it, you have like a negative soup.
Yes.
And then we're all in that, stirring and stirring and stirring it and keeping it going. And so it's the awareness. The awareness of compassion is the first step, and see how long you can dwell with the compassion, and then see what is the next step after that.
Yes. On the way driving home, I wouldn't let myself cry. I just said, no, you are stronger than this. Just send love and detach anything that's corded to him and send love and put him in a bubble of love, but put myself there first.
First.
But it took me like 50 years to learn that one. I'm kind of slow sometimes.
That's why, we're using our lifetimes, because it's an again and again thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So I know there's Joni, we will not be able to get to your question today, but I'm glad you were here, and we are at time now. So let us just close our eyes and take a deep breath in and out, and just allow yourself a minute to absorb whatever was of use for you today. And is there any way you need to feel compassion for yourself in this moment about anything? Even if it's the interaction field of this Zoom call, Did something trigger you here today? Whatever it is. Whatever it is. And just feel again your connectivity with the Fae and the She. And if you wish, ask them to assist you, to continue to assist you all month in showing you the way to joy, the way to compassion, Taking a deep breath in, exhaling, and let's open our eyes. I'm going to unmute everyone. So if you have manually unmuted yourself, please say goodbye. And release yourself from the meeting by leaving the meeting.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Facebook, please.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Au revoir.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, Bella.
Auf Wiedersehen. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Wonderful month.
You too.
A wonderful life every moment.